In 2008, Google launches something wild: Google Flu Trends. It analyzes millions of search queries to predict flu outbreaks in real time. The CDC? They take weeks to compile hospital data. Google does it instantly. And for 2 years, it's kind of miraculous. 97% accurate. News outlets are calling it the future of public health. Then 2013 hits. Google predicts twice the actual flu cases, off by 100%. Total public embarrassment. They quietly shut it down a year later. So what happened? And more importantly, are you making the same mistake right now? Nate Silver, the statistician who nailed the 2012 election predictions, tore this failure apart in his book, The Signal and the Noise. And he found that Google made the exact same mistake that kills most analytics projects. The scary part? If you're building models based on correlations in your dashboard right now, you're probably heading for the same cliff. Look, this wasn't some startup with 3 engineers and a dream. This was Google. Unlimited computing power, brilliant engineers, mountains of data, and they still got it catastrophically wrong. Silver wanted to know why. So here's what Google did. They found search terms that correlated with flu outbreaks. Things like flu symptoms, fever, cough. Makes sense, right? If people are searching for flu symptoms, they probably have the flu. But the algorithm also found correlations with stuff like high school basketball. Why? Because basketball season happens in winter, same time as flu season. The algorithm couldn't tell the difference between causation and coincidence. And honestly, it worked beautifully. For 2 years, predictions were spot on. Google looked like heroes. Then something changed. Media coverage of the flu got intense. News outlets started running these scary stories about outbreaks. And people started searching flu symptoms not because they were sick, but because they were worried. They'd see a headline and Google it out of curiosity or anxiety. Google's model was confusing media cycles with disease cycles. It wasn't measuring illness, it was measuring fear. Meanwhile, the CDC is over here doing the most boring thing imaginable: just counting. People show up sick at hospitals, they write it down, that's it. No fancy correlations, just direct measurement. And guess what? That method still works today. Silver's conclusion was brutal. Big data doesn't make correlation equal causation. It just gives you more correlations to fool yourself with. Okay, but why should you care? Because right now, you're probably building models on correlations. Sales went up when marketing spend went up. Churn dropped when you added that new feature. Conversions improved after the website redesign. But can you actually explain the mechanism? Can you draw a straight line from cause to effect? Or are you just seeing two things move together and assuming one caused the other? Google had the best data scientists in the world. They still couldn't tell the difference between people searching because they're sick versus people searching because they're scared. The numbers looked identical. Your model might look great on historical data, but the moment conditions change, the moment some hidden variable shifts, your predictions collapse, just like Google's did. Silver found that the analysts who avoided this trap all did one thing. Before trusting any correlation, they asked a simple question. Why would this relationship exist? What's the mechanism? Not just does the data show a relationship, but why would that relationship actually be real? And here's a good rule of thumb. If you can't explain it to someone who doesn't know statistics, you probably don't understand it yourself. And if you don't understand it, your model is fragile. The CDC knew their mechanism. Sick people go to hospitals. Hospitals report cases. Direct line. Boring but unbreakable. Google's mechanism? People search when they're sick. Except they also search when they're scared, or curious, or just clicking on a news article. The mechanism had a giant hole in it. They just didn't see it until everything broke. So next time you build a model, before you present those beautiful charts showing strong correlations, stop. Ask yourself, can I explain why this relationship exists? Not just that it exists. Because Google had billions in resources and still failed. You need mechanism, not just math. The question isn't whether your model fits the data. The question is whether it'll survive reality. If this helped you think differently about your data, hit that like button. And if you know someone who's knee-deep in dashboards and correlations right now, a data analyst, a product manager, maybe your entire analytics team, send this their way. Might save them from their own Google flu trends moment. Subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this. See you in the next one.